Okay, imagine this. You've just been handed command of a nuclear-powered submarine. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. It's the absolute worst-performing sub in the entire fleet. The crew is demoralized, and they've been trained to do just one thing: wait for orders. So what do? Well, if you're Captain David Marquet, you try something radical. You stop giving orders at all. Let's get into the incredible story of the USS Santa Fe and how this one shift can turn any team anywhere into a team of leaders. First off, why does any of this even matter? Well, it matters because of this number: $300 billion. That's what Gallup estimates is lost in productivity every single year in the US alone, just from disengaged employees. I mean, that is a staggering amount of wasted potential, and it points to a huge systemic problem with how we're all working.
And this quote, man, it just brings that number to life, doesn't it? This is from a guy named Ian, a super capable employee at a massive company. And he's basically being told to just sit there and wait. He wants to do more, but he has no power. And this frustration, it goes both ways. You've got employees who feel totally boxed in, and you've got bosses who are just tearing their hair out, wondering why nobody takes any initiative. It's this vicious cycle of disengagement.
So to really get why this is happening, you got to look at the two basic models of leadership. For centuries, we've run on the leader-follower model. The boss gives orders, the workers comply. And hey, that was perfect for the Industrial Revolution, for an assembly line where you just need people to do a physical task. But we don't live there anymore. Today, we need people's brains. We need their cognitive work. We need commitment, not just compliance. The old way creates followers. The new world, it needs leaders.
And this brings us right back to our main character, Captain David Marquet. This guy was top of his class at the Naval Academy. He was, on paper, an expert in leadership. Or so he thought. He was about to find out that basically everything he'd been taught was dead wrong.
So on a previous assignment, aboard the USS Will Rogers, he actually tried to give his team more control. He tried to do the right thing. And you know what happened? It was a total disaster. They made mistakes, things fell behind, and Marquet was the one getting chewed out for it. So he did what pretty much any of us would do in that situation. He took back all the control and started micromanaging every little thing.
And the result of all that micromanagement? Complete and utter burnout. I mean, this quote just says it all. He was miserable, his crew was miserable, the whole model was just soul-crushing for everybody involved. And that pain, that's what lit the fire under him to find a better way.
So that failure actually set the stage for his big test: command of the USS Santa Fe. We're talking rock bottom. The crew had terrible morale, awful performance, and what he called an inspection mentality, which basically means their only goal was to not get in trouble. This was it. This was his chance to try something completely new.
And what he did started with a change that sounds almost too simple to work. He changed how his crew was allowed to talk to him. He literally outlawed asking for permission. No more, "Captain, what should I do?" From now on, they had to come to him and state their intent. "Captain, I intend to submerge the ship." Just that small tweak completely flips the script on who owns the decision.
So why on earth is this so powerful? Well, it's because "I intend to" is like a switch that transfers psychological ownership. It moves it from the boss to the person doing the work. It forces them to actually think through the entire action before they even speak. They have to consider the plan, the risks, the goal. They're not just waiting for an answer. They're creating the answer. They're forced to think like a captain.
Okay, so that sounds good in theory, a nice little language trick, but did it actually work on the worst submarine in the US fleet? You better believe it did. Let's look at the results.
The turnaround was, and I'm not exaggerating, stunning. He takes command in '99. By 2000, just a year later, the ship is performing so well that the legendary leadership guru Stephen Covey comes aboard just to see what the heck is going on. By the time Marquet leaves in 2001, the Santa Fe is one of the best. But honestly, the real story is what happened after he was gone. This is the part that gives me chills. The USS Santa Fe didn't just become a great submarine, it became a leadership factory. An absolutely unprecedented 10 officers from his crew went on to become submarine commanders themselves. Let that sink in. The greatest test of leadership isn't how things run when you're there, it's how they run after you leave. And this ship kept on thriving. All of this success led Marquet to this really profound realization. The goal isn't to empower people. Think about that word, empower. It implies that you, the leader, hold all the power and you graciously decide to give a little piece of it to your team. No, the real goal is to emancipate them. See, emancipation starts from a different place entirely.
It assumes your people are already smart, already creative, already full of passion and great ideas. Your job as a leader isn't to bestow power upon them. It's to get the heck out of their way, to unlock the incredible potential they already have inside them. It's a total shift in mindset.
Now, of course, this isn't just magic. You can't just say, be emancipated and walk away. Marquet figured out that it rests on 3 essential pillars. First, you have to give people control, real decision-making authority. But, and this is crucial, that has to be paired with competence. They need the technical skill to make good decisions. And finally, they need clarity. They have to deeply understand what the goals of the organization actually are.
And this right here, this is the key lesson he learned from that first disaster on the Will Rogers. If you give people control without making sure they have the competence to handle it, you don't get leadership, you get chaos. You can't just tell someone, hey, you're the captain of this machine now. You have to train them, support them, and make sure they're ready to be the captain.
So really, it all boils down to this one elegant idea. The entire philosophy is about actively pushing control and decision-making down the organization, while at the same time, you are relentlessly pushing competence and clarity up. When you do that, you stop making followers and you start building an entire organization of leaders.
And that brings us to the final question, the challenge for all of us. Forget about some huge top-down initiative. Think smaller. Think about emancipation. What is one small decision, one piece of control that you can give to your team right now? What's one thing you can do to unlock the leadership potential that's already sitting right there, waiting?